Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about something you do all the time but probably never ever think about, hitting the power button on your computer. We're going to uncover the secret, super fast sequence of events that happens in that very first second.
Have you ever really wondered? You press the button, and a little bit later you see your login screen. But what actually happens in between? It's not magic, I can tell you that. It's more like a high-speed, high-stakes relay race happening deep inside your machine.
Okay, let's dive right in. The secret to this whole thing, the map for our entire journey, is actually stored on a tiny little memory chip called the SPI flash. This little component holds all the fundamental instructions, the mission plan, if you will, that brings your computer to life from a cold, dead stop.
So our journey starts with the absolute first piece of information the system reads. And here's the thing, it's not even code. It's the master blueprint that lays the foundation for literally everything that's about to happen.
This blueprint is called the flash descriptor. And the best way to think about it is as the system's constitution. Seriously, before any processor wakes up, before a single line of code is run, the machine reads this document to understand the fundamental laws of its own existence. It's really step zero.
Now, what this constitution actually does is act as a master organizer. As you can see here, it basically draws the lines on the map. It tells every other component where it can go and where it can't. It enforces read and write permissions, setting up security gates before the system is even truly on. Pretty wild, right?
So once those big constitutional rules are established, you might think the main processor finally kicks in. But nope, you'd be wrong. First, we have to meet the security first responder.
And this is one of the most surprising facts about your computer, for sure. That powerful main CPU you paid all that money for? Yeah, it's still completely asleep at this point. Something else has to wake up first to make sure the coast is clear.
That something else is a dedicated, totally independent security processor. On Intel systems, we call it the Management Engine, or ME. On AMD, it's the Platform Security Processor, or PSP. But you can just think of it as the system's own secret service agent. It wakes up first, it secures the perimeter, and it establishes what's called a hardware root of trust, which is just a fancy way of saying it creates a secure anchor point that the rest of the system can rely on.
And as you can see, this isn't just some minor function. This ME or PSP region contains its own complete micro-operating system. It's got its own startup program, its own core kernel, and digitally signed modules. Its entire job is to verify the integrity of the system's firmware before allowing the main processor to even get out of bed.
So only after our secret service agent has given the all clear can the main event finally begin. Now it's time to actually start waking up the rest of the hardware. With the platform secure, the main CPU is finally released from its reset state, and it immediately starts executing code from the BIOS region. You've probably heard of BIOS, right? It stands for Basic Input-Output System. And if the security processor was the secret service, the BIOS, it's the orchestra conductor. It's responsible for waking up every instrument and getting them all to play in harmony. And what a performance it is. The conductor, our BIOS, methodically moves through its sheet music. First, it initializes the core hardware. It wakes up your memory, your graphics card, your storage drives. Then, it executes some initial drivers so all these newly awakened components can actually talk to each other. And finally, it takes a bow and points the baton to the main act, the operating system. So, let's put it all together. We've had the constitutional rules, the security check, and the hardware orchestra. Now let's watch the final handoff and see the full sequence from start to finish. This timeline really cements the whole process. It starts with power on. Then the flash descriptor lays down the law. The ME or PSP security processor boots up to verify the system's core instructions are safe. Only then is the main CPU released. The BIOS takes over to get all the hardware initialized, and finally, control is handed over to your operating system's startup program. It's just a perfect, logical chain of command. So here's the really crucial point. That single press of a button kicks off an incredibly complex, hidden sequence. It's this foundational process designed with one main goal in mind, to make sure your computer starts not just quickly, but securely and reliably every single time. And that leaves us with a pretty fascinating thought. We've just uncovered this invisible process that guards your computer from its very first spark of electricity. It really makes you wonder, what other invisible guardians are out there, silently protecting our digital world?